What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Isai, and with me as always is my brother from another mother, Alex Jones, the Canadian, and Adler Jew Meisner. Welcome, you guys.
Hi, how are you? How's it going?
And we are West Coast Digital, you guys. So, 4 days after the Super Bowl, I know Adler here has some bottled up emotions, so why don't we start with you?
He's foaming at the mouth. Just let him start.
Okay, yeah. Why don't we start with you, Adler? your reaction of the game.
I thought it was a pretty good game. I will give the Eagles, they earned that win. They did earn that win, I think, also 2 weeks in advance after the NFC Championship game when they played the Vikings in that game.
Oh wow! I won't lie. I was expecting something.
I'm still
totally different.
I'm still going.
Oh, you're still going.
Yeah.
That sounds like a loser.
No, so they did prepare that. If you could tell by the way they played in the game, I did think New England should have won, in my opinion. I did have them winning 27-23 over the Eagles. I thought it'd be a low-scoring game. Defense. With Matt Patricia on the Patriots. Defensive side. Sorry. Thank you, Alex.
God, you already messed up, and you're supposed to be the expert. Anyways, continue.
So, and then, Tom Brady, everyone calls him the GOAT. I believe he is, so.
Just stop.
But then, who are you going to take? Tom Brady or Nick Foles? If you had the money.
See Nick Foles after the game.
Yeah, after the game. But I'm saying going into the game, you would have your money on Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's 0-3 when Eli Manning's in the Super Bowl one way or another, so.
That is true. He is 0-3. So,
yeah.
Other than that, I feel like it was a great game. I did think New England was going to win on that last drive, but when Tom Brady fumbled, I did. But once he fumbled, I knew the game was over to the Eagles, but the Patriots were going to give it one last punch.
Okay. Good statement. I have to disagree with you on the whole when you thought the game was over. I thought the game was over right after Nick Foles showed Tom Brady that he can do what he couldn't, and that was catching the ball. It doesn't matter.
Quarter.
It doesn't matter. He still caught the ball.
About?
I don't care. Oh, you got something to say, Alex?
So,
okay, why don't we hear about you?
So what you're saying is, did you think the Super Bowl was over last year when it was 28-3 Falcons? Is that basically
pretty
what
sure
you're saying?
that's what we all thought.
I mean, I thought that too, but
okay.
No,
so point taken. Point taken.
Only up by 8 or 10 or whatever.
Huh?
It was 20-12 at half, correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you mean you thought the game was over? You've seen Brady come back time and time again in the Super Bowl, even in college. And you thought the game was over in the second quarter.
That's why
you disgust me.
That is why Tom Brady is the GOAT.
We're gonna save that for another episode. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we're gonna have a special episode where these two guys they just go on a full-on debate on why Tom Brady is or isn't the GOAT.
And we can't guarantee both of us are going to come out alive after that podcast, so stay tuned.
Yeah, it's going to be a real showdown.
But one thing that Nick Foles can do that Tom Brady can't do, catch the football.
That's what I just...
Catch the football. No, you said...
That was one play.
Yeah, that is one play, but,
But he made the call. You literally made the call.
Yeah, the Philly, Philly,
Philly special.
Philly special. You can't really.
Isn't that a sushi?
It's the same. It's the same play that Oklahoma ran in the Rose Bowl this past year. Pretty much some of that stuff. I mean, it's basically the same play that they kind of ran, don't you think? A little bit, differentiated between the two.
I believe it was the same play.
Yeah, it was around the same play. It didn't really look like Brady was really running a flat route like Nick Foles was. I think he was running more kind of almost like a short vertical, like an up route or something like that.
It looked more like a stream to me.
Or no, a wheel route.
Yeah,
because he went to the flat. Yeah. He went to the flat, and once he got to numbers, he turned up. But if you go back in 2013 when Chip Kelly was the head coach for the Eagles, they ran that same play against the Philadelphia Eagles. But Danny Amendola put it right on Tom Brady instead of lofting it over him. So that was one issue I also thought. You can go back and look at it. Philadelphia did end up winning that game, though, against the Patriots because they had an interception return for a touchdown for about 99 or 100 yards. I do remember that. And a special teams touchdown. And it was in Foxborough. So we'll see what happens.
So, Alex, before you rudely interrupted me, do you want to see your Super Bowl reaction?
Yeah, I thought it was a good game. None of us really expected it to be like the most yardage in any NFL game. That's for sure. My prediction before the game was 20-17 Eagles. Like I said again, it was a really fun game to watch, especially with Adler being like a Tom Brady admirer and kind of rubbing in his face. And I think we should talk about kind of like the big elephant in the room that like a lot of the sports shows are talking about how Malcolm Butler didn't get any defensive snaps. I get it. It's like they said it's like a coaching decision and all that stuff. I don't really understand why when you have 2 weeks of practice and with Malcolm Butler's like reaction to it, being all upset about it, I would assume he got a lot of the vast majority of like the first team reps. Eric Rowe was getting a lot of first team reps, but like the touchdown catch that Alshon Jeffrey had, like that Eric Rowe was like covering him and all that stuff, like you have to think that if Malcolm Butler's in there, you don't know if he catches that or not. So I just think that would, and I think this is more of like a tarnish on Belichick's legacy than it is Brady's. Because, I have to admit that Brady did play well, had, 505 passing yards. I think that's like the most ever in a Super Bowl. So, I mean, yeah, it's just one thing, it's kind of like a head scratcher that Bill Belichick, who's, regarded as one of the best head coaches in, ever, would, do something like that. So
I think we can all agree that, I mean, if you recall from the previous episode, we all kind of pretty much emphasized on how good the Eagles defense had to do against New England. But, I mean, I honestly, you can disagree with me or not, I honestly thought that both defenses were on the fritz. I mean,
no, they were terrible.
I think it could have been anyone's game, if it weren't for simple plays. I mean, I'm pretty sure New England could have had that game in the bag, like, easily within the first two quarters.
Also, I feel like what really everybody knew from the start that this was going to be a really offensive-sided game was that first drive Philadelphia had when they converted on 3rd and 4, on the drive, and in 3rd and 12. Those are two big keys on the first. Even though they only got 3 points out of that drive, that is a momentum changer from the start. And to add on what you said, Alex, about Malcolm Butler, he was out past curfew. That's what I've read.
Well, yeah, I saw that too, but when it comes to winning a Super Bowl, like the Super Bowl's on the line, like are you really gonna hold like a guy against going at like, I mean, if it's like a one, like, or if it's like 2, 3, 4 times that it happens, my assumption is that it only happened one time, and Malcolm Butler is one of the best players on that defense besides like probably like Devin McCourty or whatever. Like why would you just hold him out for just violating curfew like one time in a 2-week span?
It's a system that they have. You know the system,
right?
It's just system after system after system. They can put anyone in that system,
like Tom Brady, like how they could put anyone in there and he wouldn't be the GOAT. But just saying
that. Okay, we gotta go. Like we said,
dang it! I let the cat out of the bag.
So again, it's a system, and also they did not have any pass rush as well for
sure
for the New England Patriots. They had no pass rush. Jamie Collins, where is he? The Browns.
He's not doing good with the Browns, so it is a system.
Chandler Jones, where is he?
He's doing pretty well with the Cardinals though, because he led the league in sacks this year. So,
and then we all know Dante Hightower injured. He will be back next year. That is one good part, but we don't know how effective he will be next year when Matt Patricia gone, and now he is the head coach of the Detroit Lions.
For sure. And I think in like the prediction episode that we had, I said that Nick Foles couldn't do too much, but honestly, like how their defense played, like Philadelphia's, like how they played, I think if Nick Foles didn't do, like, I think there's a good reason why he was MVP. Like if he didn't like come out and be special like he was that night, like the Eagles would have lost, like hands down. They would have got blown out, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But yeah, I think overall Nick Foles did really step up. And because of him and Tom Brady, like you said, it's the most yardage in any NFL game in history. Any Super Bowl in history.
No, any game.
Really?
Any game.
Okay, any game.
The total yardages, I think, was like 1,211 yards total.
They broke the record halfway through the fourth.
Yeah.
And it still had another fourth quarter to go.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. What else? They also, I mean, if it wasn't for that sack that Eagles did, they would have set another record of like no sacks in a game whatsoever. I mean, because of that sack, they tied for the least amount of sacks in a Super Bowl game, right? Which was just one.
Yeah, I believe it was just one. Also, they say whatever quarterback is not sacked in a game usually wins the game. That's why.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also the old saying where like the team with like the least amount of penalties and turnovers usually wins the game. There weren't a lot of penalties. I don't know the exact amount of. I mean, there were. I think Philadelphia probably had a little bit more penalties.
But were there any bogus calls?
I don't think so. People like to say. I think the Alshon Jeffrey catch was clean. A lot of people want to say that the Corey Clement catch went against the Patriots, but I think he had control of the ball. Like that's another thing that I think should be changed. The rule about like what is a catch and what isn't. Like, if you guys don't remember, like, when the Cowboys played the Packers a couple years ago in the playoffs where Dez basically caught the ball and was reaching out to gain more yardage, and that's not a catch. Like, he basically had possession in my book, but when you're reaching out to get more yards and you like, the ball, like, the ground makes the ball come out, I think that should be a catch. But, and I think when it comes to turnovers, like, I mean, Nick Foles on the stat sheet has one pick, but I don't think that was really his fault. That was kind of like just like a jump ball. Alshon Jeffrey bats it up in the air, and but I think Brady, the one where like the strip sack, give or take. I mean, I don't think that's really his fault either. There was like no pass rush like all game for either teams, and the one down that the Eagles defense wants to like step up. That's not really his fault. So.
That pick, though, that you were talking about, that was just a good punt by Nick Foles, quote-unquote,
Yeah.
It was a good punt.
Yeah.
And everybody knows, whoever has played football, watched football, knows there is 3 to 5 plays in a game that can change anything.
Right, for sure.
So, like they said, the Corey Clement, like you said, that can go either way.
Right.
The Zach Ertz catch at the end, that can go.
Oh, that one was clean too. A lot of people don't want to say it's clean. Well, because they're comparing it to like the Jesse James catch against like New England and all that stuff. Do you think the Corey Clement catch was clean, or the Alshon Jeffrey catch? Do you think that went the right way?
I think the Alshon Jeffrey catch, like I said, was clean no matter what. I will give him that one, for sure. Whatever the score at that point was, so let it keep there. The Corey Clement, like I said, it can go either way. I can go either way. I wouldn't be mad if it was a bad call. I wouldn't be mad if it was a good call. I'm not mad that it was a good call. Like, I will give him. Because, like I said, nobody knows what a catch is nowadays.
For sure. Yeah.
No one knows. And
it's really something that needs to be worked on.
It is frustrating. And the commissioner says it is frustrating. It says it's disgusting. It's a dishonored to the NFL, okay? It is really disgusting to know nobody knows what a catch is.
Yeah, and now for like for how hard it is to move the ball in this league, and you're just going to make it that much harder for what is a catch and what isn't. Like that, I think that is a disgrace.
Okay, so then what do you guys want to see like to be like known as a catch?
A catch is if you catch the ball and you take
no.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. You catch the ball and then you take 2 steps. It doesn't matter if you have it or not. You take 2 steps, and if you get hit, it's a fumble. Okay? Right. If you take 1 step, that is incomplete.
I don't think the ball should, or I don't think the ground should play a factor in if you're falling to the ground and you have possession. I don't think it should count against you.
No, I believe in that. Like, if the ground causes it, okay, that's fine. Right. You can either call it a fumble or a catch. Right. I'm okay with calling it a fumble or a catch. I'm okay with it. I don't care. A catch is you have possession, you take 2 steps, and you have possession. Right. Doesn't matter if the ground moves the ball or not. Yeah. A catch is a catch.
For sure.
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree with you on that because nobody has touched the player. Nobody tried to go at the ball. So, yeah, I totally agree with you that really should be the definition of a clean catch.
For sure.
But I don't know what's going on with the NFL refs. I guess we can just talk about that some other time.
Yeah, but they can make celebration rule changes,
The NFL,
fair point.
The NFL Competition Committee is apparently meeting with Roger Goodell this offseason to debate about it, or fix it, quote-unquote, fix it. Again, that's quotes around the word fix it. So, fix it, Felix. Wreck-It Ralph. Sorry.
The second one's coming out this year, so.
Really?
Sponsored by Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Disregard that sponsorship.
So no, I feel like they better fix it this offseason. If not, there are going to be more fans, more disappointment out of everybody, including players, coaches, and people are going to not want to watch the game anymore. Because that is one reason why people are not watching the game nowadays is the NFL. It is not consistent anymore because nobody knows what a catch is, nobody knows what a pick is, nobody knows what a fumble is. So nobody knows anything in the NFL because they said, oh, let's make everything complicated with more rules. No, more rules make everything worse.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums it up. But kind of like just back to the Super Bowl. I mean, I honestly think it's, it's pretty simple when it comes to breaking down the Super Bowl. Just, there was no defense whatsoever. I think Nick Foles, came up big for, not being on a stage like that. And, hats off to him.
I also feel like the Eagles, they weren't like every other team that played New England. They weren't like, oh, we got the lead, play conservative. No, they had the lead, and they kept going. They kept attacking. Trick play, going for it on 4th and 1 twice, okay, with that trick play. So, no, with New England, you got to, like my friend Alex, he's always said this to me, you got to apply pressure on Tom Brady. You got to not give him the dink and dunk, make him throw deep, and you just got to be attacking, and always go for it. If you have a chance to go for it on 4th and 1, go for it. But with New England, what their mistake was, and they're supposed to be the dynasty of the NFL right now, and I still agree in that. But this kind of puts a like a little chip on their shoulder now because of this. It's 4th and 1, and they decide to kick it on 4th and 1, and he just whiffs. Janikowski is not a good Super Bowl kicker like Adam Vinatieri.
It was Janikowski.
Who was it?
It was Gostowski.
Oh, Gostowski.
Gostowski.
I'm sorry. So, no, he just... One time it was the holder's fault, okay? I can't blame him that. We don't know if it was the snapper. We hope not, because we all love Joe Cardona. So...
If you're wondering why they love Joe Cardona, it's because he is an alumni from our high school, correct?
Correct.
Granite Hills Eagles, that's right!
And, yeah, his dad still coaches there, so...
So, yeah, that's why we hope it's not the snapper's fault. We most likely will give it on the holder's fault.
It was probably the holder. It basically was the holder. It hit him right in the hand.
So, and then, you missed a PAT, you missed a field goal, and you missed another field goal. That's 7 points. That game's a completely different game right there.
For sure.
So, again, like I said, it's 3 to 5 plays. It can even go up to 10 in a game, but, that is pushing it. And every inch matters in a game. So, and like you said, the Corey Clement catch, that's by inches.
Right.
You never know
Sure.
how that inch is going to go, if it's going to go your way, their way, or no one's way. So, again, I would have liked to see Tom Brady, get one for the other finger. So I would have liked him to get another one. Then Patriots would have been tied for the most Super Bowls, but now they're tied for the most losses in the Super Bowl
with the Broncos.
Yeah. And I think to add on another point, I think going forward. When it comes to game planning against Brady, if you can't get 4, your D-line to rush and get there, you have to send more. I said that in the Super Bowl prediction show, and I think and it can go towards their receivers and all that stuff. As you can see, New England doesn't have a running game anymore. They only throw they'll run it with Rex Burkhead sometimes. Lord knows if he's going to be back next year.
But they do just focus on passing
for sure. Now they'll just kind of swing it out to Deion Lewis and all that stuff. But you have to get physical with these receivers. I think what you do now with Brady going forward is he is getting older. He has an insane training regimen and all that stuff. But I think what you do is you dare him to throw it deep, and you play with a lot more in the box. You blitz more. You play press on that. You basically disrespect these receivers and all that stuff. Because he is getting older. He might not be able to. And nowadays Brady just kind of does all the nickel and dime stuff now, where he's not really throwing it downfield. I would just dare him to throw it downfield, and if he gets one, then you just live with it.
So I feel also what you were saying, Alex, the only time he's really thrown deep to one guy, Randy Moss.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's now a Hall of Famer. Congratulations. So
that dude's a beast.
Yeah. So he should have won a Super Bowl. Sidetrack real quick. Should have won a Super Bowl, but he didn't. But there's a lot of people in the Hall of Fame who have not won a Super Bowl, like Chris Carter.
Yeah.
one of his teammates when he was in Minnesota. But back to what I'm saying, like what you were saying. For Tom Brady and the New England Patriots in that Super Bowl, they didn't have Julian Edelman. Do you understand? They didn't really have another tight end because they love to run a 2 tight end system. Okay. They didn't really have another consistent tight end.
Well, they didn't even really have another consistent tight end the whole year. I mean, you got Dwayne Allen, it's like
he's a good
Enough said.
He's a good blocker, yeah. But I mean,
enough said.
The 2 tight end system hasn't really been the same since Aaron Hernandez and Gronkowski. And I think the Eagles did a good job of covering Gronk like the first half because I think he basically dropped like 3 balls in the first half. But
he wasn't really even, I guess you can say, in the game in the first half.
Yeah,
he switched around the second half, which is great.
But then the Eagles, like in the second half, they're like, okay, well, Gronk's not a problem, so let's focus on someone else. Like, why? Like, that's Brady's favorite target.
Don't underestimate. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but also like I said, Brandon Cooks was out for partial of the game.
For sure.
Julian Edelman was nowhere to be seen because, he tore his ACL in the preseason against the Lions, Hopefully he'll be back ready to go next year, but nobody knows how an ACL is, what I'm saying, if it's going to take 1 year, 2 years, or he's just done. Hopefully he's not just done because
I don't think he's done. I think he'll be ready next year because it happened pretty early in the preseason when he tore his ACL.
But we got to admit, whenever anyone has an ACL injury, or any injury as a fact, they're not the same.
Or you could be like Adrian Peterson and then tear your ACL and then come back next year and win MVP and like shatter records.
Fair point, but
he was 9 yards short. He didn't have the whole 9 yards.
He needed 9 yards to break the rushing record, but they pulled him out early in the fourth quarter because they were already beating the Minnesota Vikings. But it's okay.
But yeah, if Julian Edelman does come back, I believe what he's going to struggle with the most is those slant routes because
there's a lot of cutting.
Those are his favorite routes. Those are the ones that he succeeds in the most. I think he will lose a little bit of his speed, obviously.
That is one thing that everybody knows. You tear an ACL, you lose speed. The thing about Julian Edelman, he's going to have to gain that speed back, plus more speed, just so he can get better because everyone gets faster every year. It is a fact. Everyone gets faster, everybody gets stronger. He now has to double, if not triple, his work ethic just to get better and better than everyone else.
No, yeah, that is a fair point. And I think when you bring up speed, you also should talk about his agility. I mean, he's got to be careful when he's agile because who knows, man, if he tries to do something a little fancy, little cut over here or something, who knows if he'll re-injure that messed up ACL. I mean, God forbid, because he is a great player, and I think he's set up to be in the Hall of Fame one day.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't believe though that he'll be a top 5 wide receiver next year.
No, if anything, he's going to be like near the bottom half because he had anything. He didn't have anything. I think he will be considered as a fantasy option. He'd probably be considered a third wide receiver, maybe even a flex option.
No. He's going to be top. He won't be top 5, but he'll be top 10. He's coming back. He's going to do really good. He's going to have Tom Brady throwing to him. Josh McDaniels is returning. Josh McDaniels said, no, I don't want the Colts job. Let me stay in New England because consistency is where it's at. Bill Belichick's not going to coach forever. Got Tom Brady as my quarterback. I got everything going on. I have a good relationship with Robert Kraft, the New England Patriots owner. So I feel like it's going to be good. He will be a top 10 wide receiver, but it may not take until halfway through the week, if not past the bye week.
Okay, which brings me to my next question here. Okay, so with Matt Patricia gone to the Detroit Lions as the head coach, and Josh McDaniels, and I want to quote Alex, he pulled Steve Harvey here with the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, with Matt Patricia gone, what does this mean for New England? And who do you think should step up, to take over as the defensive coordinator for New England?
I don't have an answer right now. Nobody knows who's the DC going to be because no one's really thought of, Matt Patricia leaving, and then no one's thought about who's going to replace him now. Matt Patricia is one of the best defensive minds in the head coach. But the bad thing about it, though, he does not look like a head coach for the Detroit Lions. He's not. I don't think he is a head coach type. I feel like he's an assistant for the rest of his life. Okay, he may get that experience like Josh McDaniels as a head coach, but I don't feel like he's head coach. I don't feel like he should be a head coach. Like, I will let him have his fun, let him have his fun with trying to coach the Lions. Good thing with the Lions, he got Matthew Stafford. He doesn't really got to worry about the offense. He just got to fix that defense. They already have a good offense. But also, they got to tell Matthew Stafford, don't throw the ball deep all the time. Because that's all Matthew Stafford likes to do is throw the deep. Because he had Megatron, and now he keeps trying to do it with the Golden Tate. So...
Yeah, I think I don't have a lot of answers right now either for the new DC. For the Patriots, I think I wouldn't be surprised if it was somebody in the system because, like Adler said, they have like kind of like a whole system going on. I could probably, like, when it comes to outside sources, I wouldn't be surprised with this either. Maybe Jack Del Rio. He's been a defensive coordinator before. He was really good. I think he basically built, Denver's defense when it was really good, and then he took the head coaching job in Oakland. And I don't even think he did a bad job in Oakland. He just kind of had an off year. But that's how the Raiders do it. Like you have one off year and then you're done. It's not like the Browns where you're Hugh Jackson and you can go 1-31 in 2 years and then you still have a head coaching job.
I feel also like the things with the Raiders. To sidetrack real quick, Raiders, they drafted a punter, real quick, in the draft one year. I don't remember what draft it was. They drafted a punter. He wasn't even there to get his jersey or his hat or anything. Raiders have always been that team who've just wanted to go, hey, everyone else is going route A. No, let's go Q. No one likes Q, but we do. Right. They've always been that different person.
Yeah. No, that's an excellent point right there. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see how it's going to be for Raiders as well, especially now that they're going to be in Las Vegas. I mean, and then with their new head coach, I think we can all be excited for John Gruden.
Oh, yeah.
We can definitely expect some fireworks.
He's one of the best mic'd up coaches of all time.
Yeah, we can. I'm going to expect a lot of fireworks, from the Raiders this upcoming season. I mean, I'm pretty sure he can do something with them,
I don't believe, and I've heard this from all Raider fans. So like, oh, we're gonna win the Super Bowl, the next 5 years. That ain't happening. It doesn't happen like that. Okay, it won in whatever. Okay, is it happening of them winning the Super Bowl? No. Will they get in the playoffs? Yes. Will they keep getting closer and closer? Yes. Will they have a top 5 offense? Yeah, they will. There is no doubt. John Gruden is one of the best offensive-minded people in the NFL. You can go back, look on, when he did Monday Night Football, all he did that. He has John Gruden's QB camp, and he has Derek Carr as his quarterback coach, as his quarterback.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a dangerous team that nobody really is gonna want to face once they start hitting their groove and keep going.
Again, Adler, very well said. I agree with both of you. John Gruden, we all can agree he's an excellent coach. And like I said, we should expect a lot of fireworks from them. So yeah, basically, Super Bowl 52 was not a disappointment, but we can just say not really what we expected. I'm sure we all thought it was going to be like a medium to low scoring game. I'm sure we all thought that the defense for both teams were going to be like on each other, stopping those plays, and everything. But I guess we were all wrong. But in the end, it was still entertaining. Halftime show kind of sucked, though. I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't like Justin Timberlake.
I thought the Prince thing that they did was pretty cool because Prince being from Minnesota.
Yes. That well said.
That was really like what he did. Respect beyond belief. Justin Timberlake. He's always about respect and trying to people. But I feel like the halftime show was way too hyped. Way too hyped for what it was supposed to be. Because it was Justin Timberlake, and everybody knows what happened last time with Justin Timberlake. But we're not going into that because everybody knows, and if you don't know, just go look it up. We're not going to talk about it. But I did feel like, and my final thoughts on this is, this game, it is top 10 for now. We still got, how many more Super Bowls till the NFL's gone, but the NFL is not going to go away anytime soon.
With the turnout that everyone's watching, I think maybe sooner than later, sooner than we think. But go ahead.
So, but no, it is a top 10. This is a top 10 Super Bowl so far, but I would not put it top 5.
Well said, folks. All right, so that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you again, Alex and Adler, for joining me. We are West Coast Digital, and we will be signing out. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.